Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. I'm Brandon Flash, and here we have the new Volkswagen ID.4 all-wheel drive. You're joining me here in gloomy Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we have the brand new all-wheel drive Volkswagen ID.4. This one is a Pro S variant with the gradient package. That adds the silver trim and the 20-inch wheels. And we're going to be going for a first drive today. If you've watched Out of Spec Reviews before, you know that we love the ID.4 on this channel. Let me walk you through some of the changes that are on the all-wheel drive ID.4 versus the rear-wheel drive ID.4 that we've seen until now in North America. Like I said, here we have an ID.4 Pro S with the gradient package. That adds these lovely 20-inch wheels, adds a silver trim, and it adds the black roof around the panoramic roof, and all Pro S's have a full glass roof with the sunshade. We'll show you that in a moment. On the all-wheel drive, it gains a slightly new badge with that all-wheel drive moniker. We do have a 15mm higher ride, and we do actually have the stiffer sway bars from the ID.4 GTX in Europe, as well as slightly larger brakes. And that's part of why this vehicle can actually tow 2,700 pounds versus 2,200 pounds of the rear-wheel drive. Let's hop inside and go for a drive. You now join me inside the ID.4 Pro S all-wheel drive. Let's take it for a spin. I did have to drive it over this parking lot, so I did drive it, but let's take it out, see how it does. Like I said, we're in Chattanooga, Tennessee at an Volkswagen event. So they do have a preset route for us, but we can kind of do what we want. As always, I'm gonna be driving in the B mode. That gives us a more aggressive regen. And let's pull out of here and try to not get hit. And we're gonna be jumping on the interstate here pretty quick. So we'll get to try out travel assist, see if there's any difference in this car versus the rear wheel drive. I don't suspect there will be, but we shall see. This vehicle does have brake blending on the brake pedal for regen, as well as friction brakes. And we're of course going to be flooring it on the on-ramp. And let's punch it from about 20 miles an hour. Definitely has a little bit of a ramp before it gives you full power, but this does throw you back in the seat quite a bit more than the rear wheel drive. Let's lift off there so we're not going too fast. We're going to be crossing over a river lake of some sort. Not sure what it is here in Chattanooga, but this area of Chattanooga is quite nice. And the navigation is definitely confused. I would say the built-in navigation is not one of the ID.4's strong suits. I typically use CarPlay whenever possible with my own navigation. So now that we've gotten in our lane here, actually let's move over once more. Wow, the views here are beautiful. Let's throw on travel assist. So to activate travel assist, you just press this button right here to the lower right on the left-hand side of the steering wheel controls. And the vehicle's now lane centering and having adaptive cruise control. And you only need 3 fingers on the steering wheel because it does have a capacitive ring rather than the usual torque sensing of a lot of other vehicles with similar semi-autonomous systems. So right off the bat, it does feel slightly heavier behind the wheel, especially the steering a little bit. Let's see what drive mode we're in. So it looks like we're in comfort. You do actually have a new drive mode that's called traction, and that gives you a permanent all-wheel drive split up to 12 miles per hour, and that's exclusive to the all-wheel drive variant. So we're gonna be killing travel assist here because we're gonna be exiting. We're headed to Signal Mountain. We're gonna be ripping this through the Tennessee mountainside, I guess, or hillside, not quite sure. Did feel very planted over that fairly large undulation. So far, this feels very similar to my personal ID.4 Pro S with gradient. That's a rear-wheel drive. Basically, if you like the ID.4 already, you're going to like this even more, I think. There's not really any downside. I believe it's about $3,700 more, which when you're spending mid-40s or so isn't the end of the world. And the ID.4 is priced very competitively compared to some of the other vehicles on the market, the Mach-E, the Model Y, and as of right now, it is eligible for the full $7,500 federal tax credit in the United States, plus whatever state incentives you may have. I know some states have up to about $5,000 available. And again, punching it, it does have a slight delay, which I think is probably for the best for the general public. We'll try it in sport mode in a little bit and see how it reacts in sport if it takes away a little bit of that delay. These ID.4s are just a very pleasant place to be. I've got the seat massager going on right now, and being that this is a Pro S, it has that. Plenty of power. I might have to get one of these myself. And let's talk EPA ratings for the rear-wheel drive and the all-wheel drive. The ID.4 Pro all-wheel drive has an EPA rating of 249 miles. Contrast that to the ID.4 Pro rear-wheel drive, which has an EPA rating of 260 miles. And the Pro S rear-wheel drive has an EPA rating of 250 miles, and on the ID.4 Pro S all-wheel drive you have an EPA rating of 240 miles. So a pretty insignificant amount of range difference, in my opinion anyway. And we're now heading through some kind of twisty areas in the Tennessee countryside, and this car is just handling fantastic. We do have another ID.4 on our tail. But this car is scooting along. The ID.4 already handles quite well, and you throw in some extra power, and turns out it's a pretty capable canyon carver even. A little bit floaty there. And we'll slow down for this bicyclist. I'm not having any traction control intervention, which is really nice. These tires are actually doing much better than I would expect them to. I believe we're on the Kinergy Hankooks, and we're on the 20-inch gradient wheels. But my rear-wheel drive would absolutely have traction control kicking in for driving like this. So I am really impressed at how well this all-wheel drive is maintaining traction. Car does tell us when we change time zones. That's actually pretty nice to see. We're kind of right on the cusp of Central and Eastern time zone here in Tennessee. If you're in the market for an ID.4 in North America, I highly recommend you check out Kyle's video going over all the different trim levels. He even included the first edition, which is not something available on the all-wheel drive, comparing some of the things you get and some of the things you don't get on Pro and Pro S. Even though this is all-wheel drive and it's a new model to the lineup, the trim levels are exactly the same. The only change is that all-wheel drive. And on the all-wheel drive, every trim gets a trailer hitch, actually, which is pretty cool. Can tow up to 2,700 pounds with brakes, which I think is very capable for a vehicle of this class, especially electric. Something to keep in mind, though, with towing, you do lose quite a bit of range. I think the all-wheel drive ID.4 takes some of the best characteristics of the existing ID.4, essentially everything, and simply turns it up a notch and makes it a bit better. So be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. That way you can be notified when Kyle's full video review comes out, with his full 3-cycle review, as well as 100 to 0 range test at 70 miles an hour and his 0 to 100 DC fast charging test. hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave them down below. See you next time.